right, so we're working on this riddle from the Bhagavatam about how to find freedom and to realize the divine. And I'll just remind you of what the riddle is that we're trying to solve here. So he says, "Do you know the end of the field?" Narada asks the sons of Daksha. "Without knowing the end of the field, all austerities are fruitless. There is a kingdom where reigns the one and only king. There is a well whence there is no return. There is a woman who assumes many forms. There is one who is the husband of the woman. There is a river which flows in opposite directions. There is a house which is built of 25 kinds of material. There is a bird which has great discrimination and which twitters beautiful songs. There is an object which is in perpetual motion. When you understand what these are, you will know the truth and become free." And so yesterday we talked about the field, right? And there was an additional thought that I had overnight as I was pondering this field, is that not only is it the place where you plant your karmas, your actions, your thoughts, your words, and they produce your experience of life, but also a field is what? When you're in an airplane and you look out the window at the expanse of fields across the Midwest when you're flying over there, you see that fields are a boundary, right? But in essence, the land is one, right? There is no such thing as a field. It's like it is boundless and infinite. It takes up the whole continent, and yet it has been segmented off, and we all understand that notion and live accordingly. You know, if you take a look at nation states, even from the space station, what is there? There are no divisions in the land, and yet we have put divisions in the land, and we abide by them, and we've tied our rules and our laws to them, and our livelihoods and our memberships and our identities are tied to them. And so naturally, they would associate the ego with a field because we do the exact same thing. We are bounded and limited in an infinite expanse of self, and we identify with it, and we cherish it, and we have become that, and we have laws for ourselves, likes and dislikes that have to do with our particular field. And it's what separates us from the whole rest of humanity. But it's make-believe. It's just a social agreement, as it were. So that was the field. And then we were talking about this evening that we were going to discuss the kingdom. There is a kingdom where reigns the one and only king. He says the kingdom is the universe, of which God is the supreme king and ruler, until we know that ever free one and surrender our hearts to him. All our struggles are vain. So this kingdom, the kingdom of the divine, is ruled and overseen by that divine entity, by God. And to know that divinity, to know God, is to find your freedom. Because why? Because in the end, thou art that. You are of the divine, born of the divine, coming out of the divine. That there is no separation between you and the world around you. And that's the highest realization, is to see that divinity in all things everywhere, to see yourself in all things, to know that you are not separate and apart from the whole. And so it's a great practice to look into the eyes of others and see yourself looking back at yourself from behind their eyes. Even complete strangers, just to see there and have that thought as you look at them, and then speak to them. And find the heart connection is so much easier to make, and friendliness naturally flows, and respect comes of that as well. And so through this knowing the nature of the universe, this kingdom that is overseen by the beloved, by knowing the nature of all of that and its true relationship to you, we find our freedom, we find our infinity, we find our bliss.